You wouldn't believe me if I told you what I saw, but I knew something was wrong the moment I walked in. I kicked off my shoes by the door and dragged my bag onto the kitchen counter. All I wanted was to take a shower and crawl into bed. As I pulled out my phone, I saw that Alex had called 3 times. His name filled me with a mixture of excitement and dread. I really missed him. We'd been together for 2 years now, and even though we lived separately, our love for each other only seemed to grow stronger with time. But lately, a dark cloud had been looming over our relationship, casting shadows on what used to be sunny days, and his frequent late-night calls weren't making things any easier. I dialed back, hoping to hear his familiar voice on the other end. But to my dismay, all I heard was the automated message telling me that his mailbox was full and he couldn't receive any more calls. Frustration welled up inside of me. Why did he keep calling me when he didn't even bother to listen to my side of the story? What had I possibly done? Between school, work, and life, I barely had time for myself. So when I finally sat down on the couch, I opened my laptop to find some homework. But my mind was still racing from the day's events. My feet ached from standing all day at my job at the beauty school. Now I just wanted to curl up and sleep. As I stared at the ceiling fan above me, I tried to shut off my thoughts. But then I heard it again. The sound that had become my worst nightmare. The sound of keys jingling outside my apartment. My heart pounded in my chest. Was he here to apologize? Or were these late-night visits becoming a pattern? Alex strolled in through the door, his presence filling the room with a mix of familiarity and dread. The sight of him both excited and scared me. He looked the same as always, yet something about him seemed different. I forced myself to look away, hoping he wouldn't notice my gaze. Maybe it was just a boys' night out, but the uneasiness that had been gnawing at me intensified. For weeks now, I'd been feeling this unsettling sensation that something was amiss in our relationship. And tonight, as I watched Alex enter my apartment, my suspicions grew. I tried to convince myself that everything was fine, that my worries were unfounded. But as I turned to face him, a flicker of doubt crossed his eyes that sent chills down my spine. I could sense that something was wrong, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Over the past 2 years, Alex and I had built a life together. We shared secrets, dreams, and hopes, creating memories that meant the world to me. But recently, a rift had formed between us, widening with each passing day. As I looked into his eyes, I saw a stranger, someone I didn't recognize. The bond we once shared seemed to have dissolved into thin air, leaving me stranded in a sea of uncertainty. Scrolling through Alex's Instagram feed, I noticed a series of photos posted over the past week. They showed him at parties with groups of friends, enjoying drinks and laughing. But there wasn't a single picture of me. Not one. Despite being in a relationship with him for 2 years, I felt like a ghost in my own life. It was as if I'd never existed. He'd always come up with excuses as to why I wasn't in his posts. Oh, my skin was too bad that day. You were asleep when I got back from the party, but how could this continue? I pondered, staring blankly at the screen. Each post was a fresh wound, reopening old hurts and insecurities. Had I been nothing but a fleeting moment in his life? Was our relationship just a chapter he wanted to forget? The more I scrolled, the deeper the rabbit hole went, leaving me lost in a maze of unanswered questions and a growing sense of isolation. As I tossed and turned in bed that night, sleep seemed impossible. Hours passed with every tick-tock of the clock, reminding me of the time slipping through my fingers. My mind raced, replaying every conversation, every argument, and every shared moment. Suddenly, a message popped up on my phone. Startled, I read it again. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was a photo of Alex and another girl, their faces inches apart, their bodies close, and the timestamp showed that it was taken only 2 days ago. My heart sank. This couldn't be real, could it? The revelation hit me like a ton of bricks. My knees buckled and I slid down the wall until I was sitting on the floor. Tears streamed down my face as the reality of the situation washed over me. Alex had been cheating on me, and this girl wasn't hiding it, she was flaunting it in my face. In that moment, I felt like my whole world was crumbling down around me. The pain was unbearable. My breathing became shallow and I struggled to make sense of what I was feeling. Was this the end of my relationship? How could I move on from this betrayal? I didn't know what to do. The image burned into my mind, seared by the intensity of the moment. It was a visual testament to the deceit that had been hidden from me. I wanted to confront Alex, to demand answers, but a part of me was afraid. Afraid of what he might say. Afraid of the truth. Afraid of the pain that came with it. Sitting on the edge of my bed, I tried to calm myself. I needed to get a hold of my emotions. I needed to be strong. With a deep breath, I began to pull myself together. I knew I had to do this for me. I couldn't let Alex or anyone else see me broken and defeated. I had to show them that I was strong, that I could handle this. I had to prove it to myself. I needed to talk to someone who would understand, someone who would listen without judgment. I reached out to my sister, hoping to find solace in her comforting presence. As I stepped out of my car and walked toward my sister's house, my heart pounded in my chest. The weight of my decision pressed down on me. Should I confront Alex? Would it change anything? I wasn't sure, but as I stood before my sister's door, I knew I needed her support. Taking a deep breath, I knocked. The door opened and my sister's face, etched with concern, emerged. Without saying a word, I fell into her arms, pouring out the pain and confusion that had been consuming me. In the warm embrace of my parents' home, I found the strength I needed to pack a small suitcase. Every item I placed inside was a reminder of my journey, a silent testament to my strength and resilience. With each step I took away from Alex's apartment, I felt a weight lifting. The fear, the uncertainty, the anxiety, it all seemed to fade into the background. I was reclaiming my life. As I drove along, the city lights blurred into streaks of color, mirroring the kaleidoscope of emotions within me. Memories of laughter, joy, and love flickered through my mind, followed closely by moments of neglect, deceit, and pain. It was a bittersweet journey of self-discovery, one that had been paved with both sunshine and storms. But I kept moving forward, driven by the promise of a new horizon. In the quiet confines of my bedroom, I poured my heart out onto paper, writing down every thought, every feeling, every fear, and every dream. It was a release, a way to untangle the knots in my soul. And as I wrote, a sense of calm began to wash over me. I was taking back control of my narrative. With trembling hands, I dialed the number. It seemed like an eternity before a voice finally answered. His tone was cold, devoid of the warmth and affection that had once characterized our conversations. It felt as though I was speaking to a stranger. Suddenly, a surge of determination coursed through me. I had to get answers. I had to confront the reality that had been tearing me apart. Despite the pain in my chest, I pressed on. My voice trembled as I asked him questions. Each response was a blow, shattering the remnants of trust and hope. He denied everything. I felt like I was going crazy. Taking a deep breath, I tried to steady myself. I had to stay strong. I couldn't let him see that he had affected me. Saying goodbye was the hardest thing I've ever done. But as the door closed behind me, I felt a sense of relief wash over me. I knew I had made the right decision. In the aftermath of our conversation, a profound sense of calm settled over me. It was as if a heavy fog had been lifted, revealing a clear path ahead. I realized I had to protect myself, to prioritize my own happiness and well-being. Walking away from Alex was one of the most difficult decisions I've ever had to make. But in doing so, I discovered a strength within myself that I never knew existed. It was a painful journey, but it was a necessary one. One day I found myself sitting in a cafe, sipping a cup of tea, when I saw him across the room. Time seemed to stop as our eyes met. For a moment, I felt a surge of emotions, a mixture of sadness, anger, and longing. But as I took a slow sip of my tea, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. I didn't acknowledge him. Instead, I focused on the warmth of the tea in my hands and the soft chatter of people around me. In that moment, I knew that my life was moving forward, whether he chose to walk alongside me or not. What would you do in my place? Forgive or walk away?